How's it going, people? Welcome back to another one of our videos. Today we're going to talk about a Team Bubba member that tapped up Kim in a Telegram chat, and this person, well, throughout the screenshots I'll show you and the information, the document. It could be Max, Jason, could be anyone, but it's this person called Jason we'll use for now. Thought, I'm going to ask some questions. I need to get some answers from Kim. So he was a member of one of her Telegram groups, probably something to do with the care insurance thing. Anyway, he tapped her up and said, like, kind of, "Hi, Kim, blah, 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 blah." I started asking questions, and to his amazement, she responded back. First, he didn't even know if it was the real Kim, but as you can tell from the response that it gets back from Kim and the evidence that we've come across is kind of like tallying up. It's definitely her. Of course, some of the answers that we got back from Kim, we asked our sources and whistleblowers, and there was I was surprised. We were surprised at the information we got back from our sources. One of them, what's this say, representing tank side of things, and the other, two people confirming some of the information back that Kim provided in that chat, that we thought it was a little bit kind of, I don't really want to give too much away, but what I'll do is right now, I'm going to play some audio, which we got the text file and we got screenshots of the chat with Kim in there. But what we've had to do is to make it look a bit more realistic. I know we're using the AI voice for this, but it's not too bad. It doesn't sound like a robot or such. But we've used 2 or 3 different voices in there so that you can kind of sit back and just listen to what the chat was about instead of having to read little bits here and there. But as it goes through, we'll show you some the commentary. Well, we'll commentary on the text and also show the text on the screen on the discussion that they had. So here we go. You have a listen to this, and then we'll come back and have a chat on the evidence.
Hi, it's Max. This is my only option to connect at the moment. .b3 program is a go.
Max who?
I thought you might be the Kimberly Goguen and was just messing around.
This is, and why are you contacting me?
Hi, Kimberly, or Christy Adams, or whoever you really are. I was wondering if you are in charge of the world's financial systems. Then why are you charging people for an IPTV service? The same service I give people for free, and I'm not in charge of any financial system. Personally, I don't care that the IPTV is illegal. I use it myself. But there are free versions available that work as well as yours without subscription. Many people just don't know where to look, but you could let them know if you didn't need the money. Why charge for a free illegal service? And why did you disband all the different teams you had working on restoration projects when they were so close to being ready? Websites made and thousands of hours work done by friends of mine who put all their free time without pay for 2 years into your projects only to have the rug pulled out with zero explanation and disbanded. Some say you just do that every 18 months or so when people wise up and start asking questions. I mean, how long do you expect people to work for you without pay and an endless carrot on a stick with no result? It's any available people will start to question. Do you have a conscience? People in Africa that I know walk for miles to get internet for a few minutes to get your updates so they can find out what's happening, as you are their only hope. And then they end up with nothing, still hoping and waiting for the day that anything you say actually has a real-world effect on their lives. Of course, you might argue that you have saved them many times and they just don't know it, but it's always so intangible, isn't it? There's never any real truth of anything. Nothing changes in their lives. I know people who believed in you who are now utterly disappointed in themselves for believing in you. Hopium. It seems you dish out the same kind of intangible hopium as the White Hats con. It's so bizarre how you talk about the White Hats never doing anything and being all talk, and yet all their claims of success are exactly the same as yours. Always behind the scenes dramas and twists that amount to nothing tangible. It's just bizarre to hear you call them out while at the same time running the same playbook.
The website building was my request of anyone. It was tanks. I understand how you feel. And it kind of sounds like you are looking to get some sort of validation for your feelings. But you won't get it from me. I could explain, but I wouldn't waste my time because you have your mind set with your full cup as to who and what I am. So with that said, I wish you all the best on your journey. And if you think you can do a better job than I or the White Hats as you refer to them as, then please feel free to do so. All the best, Kay. It's people like you that like to complain about everything and yet do nothing.
I'm doing a lot of things, Kim. I'm funding with my own modest income an orphanage in Uganda where I pay for their schooling, food and rent every week of every year for 25 children and 4 adults. Sometimes I go without myself to make that happen. I'm always helping people. I make a real tangible difference in people's lives. Something that can be quantified and photographed and experienced. Food on the table, medical supplies when needed. Yet in 6 years of observing you, I've seen you ask your followers to help one guy get some cancer treatment, and that was a call out to your followers for financial support for him. Yet you have promised so many things, kept people hanging for years thinking around the next corner they would be getting the support and help they so desperately need. I see your people taking nice videos of farmers markets and saying, hey, look what these people are doing, etc. None of that is anything to do with KRN. It's just field messengers saying, hey, look at this lovely community thing, which is nice to see. But that's not from any funding or restoration. Show me one project you have got off the ground in the last 6 years. Plenty of funds have been coming in from your subs and TV service. You have a nice house or two. I live in a glorified shack I built myself. Yet I'm helping people with real money. And I don't have hundreds of volunteers working for free. Where's the evidence? The results? Other than gift of the gab talking.
How much do you think UNN earns?
Who pays for all of the GIA staff? Isn't that hundreds of people worldwide?
No.
It's a global intelligence agency. You make it sound like it's a huge operation.
Again, you didn't answer my question. USS Hume.
I don't know how much. I'm totally open to hearing.
Around 35,000 a month. We have 40 people around the world on payroll, total 30. The remaining 5,000 goes to pay for the app hosting, Zoom, etc. If our income goes up, we pay another person.
I'm trying to understand why teams of people set up to do various tasks were disbanded and the people blamed for why it was disbanded when they were told funding was imminent for projects. Was that all tank?
If there is anything left, we send it to people, etc.
Okay, thanks for clarification.
I still get complaints from assembly people. This just today.
Happy Rising, Sister Jean Ann. There's information that came to my attention regarding the members of that Korean religious leaders that was posted on the Africa thread, which you also called my attention to. And I had to delete. I learned one of the assembly leaders is the leader of that religion in Rwanda, and the assembly leader usually make people who are coming to join CARE first go through and train in the religious group before they are allowed to join CARE, before they are allowed to join that assembly. I was shocked about this information and wrote this notice below to warn them. Please go through and edit for me. Notice. It has come to my attention that some leaders are accepting people to their assembly only after making them join the leader's religion before being allowed to join CARE. This sort of thing is not permitted in our CARE organization. Nobody should attach CARE organization to other churches, online businesses, foundations as a pathway to join CARE. No one needs to be a member of any group first before being allowed to join CARE. People are free to join CARE directly. You are not obliged to join any other organization, church, network, business, cryptocurrency, etc. before being allowed to join CARE. Anyone doing this before allowing someone to join CARE should desist from that act immediately.
This is one example. Others had mutiny on presidents. People charged to join. Constant infighting, crypto scams, you name it, it was, and to some degree still is.
Oh yes, I know about that Korean religious cult. They tried to get me involved.
It's still going in. People couldn't get along.
Okay, well, I can understand that. Still, there must have been some that had good projects ready for funding. My friends were all getting along great in their assembly as far as I could tell. Oh well, I wish you all the best anyway.
As for PGSD, they all, including Tank, stopped listening to me. They tried to build a ridiculous amount of websites which confused everyone, tried to Americanize the world, created cookie-cutter processes that people could never comply with. Some do and some carry on. Hundreds did not.
I think people assume the gyre is like the CIA but nicer and global, so they think there must be funds and military been funded also. Didn't you say you had over 1 million troops available? Perhaps GIA wasn't the best choice of name.
That before Union was actually formed and running like a real business, I painted houses and paid my own bills. As far as Tank asking for donations, we found out he pocketed 90 and gave me and everyone else 0. We do. All but 10 are not human. They don't use money.
Thanks for taking the time to answer my questions. So from your answers, it seems that you have created a decent global business employing 40 or so people, which is putting food on the tables of those 40 people, so that's good. But it also seems that it's built on stories about who you are and what positions you hold that don't add up to reality. In other words, a grift. Because all your claims of control of the world's financial system still doesn't make sense. Either you have control or you don't. If you did, then everything would have changed. Chemtrails are still above me now. The elite scum are still doing their thing. You pushed the RV back in the day. That was BS. So was the Mana Trust, etc. So all this still looks a lot like a grift. And your answers seem to support that. Stories of power and position to build a business that sells hope. Without the Indiana Jones stores and sci-fi aliens and light language translations, and your troops taking out the baddies, there would be no followers.
Number 1, I never pushed the RV. I told everyone from the beginning it was a scam. Number 2, I control the back end of the system and working on the front end, never mind the crazy people. Number 3, chemtrails are not as frequent as they used to be. And you know this too. I tell you the truth. If you don't understand what is really enslaving you, you will never understand how the system was created. Again, you don't have to listen, and my initial assessment was me as an ATM machine, and without money in your bank account I'm worthless, which is also a program. Again, that is okay. That time will come very soon, and I am sure you will complain about that too. And yes, every person I can give a paycheck to, we do. I do not own any house. I take what I need to exist and give the rest to everyone else. I have had businesses in my life that have made me millions, which I built and gave it all up for this. So you can judge me on what I do and do not all. But I know who I am. I know what I have done. I also know how our financial, telecom, military, intelligence, etc. systems were built. In order for people to actually use money, you have to understand the evil behind it and what still lurks. So I am sorry you didn't get the proof you want, YT, but you will one day. Then will you apologize? Doubt it. OMBTW. The name Mana Trust was created by me and registered in the system, and it was my choice to change the name. I wasn't pushing anything. I made a name and others corrupted it, and I moved the ball. This is war. Do you not understand war?
Okay, fair enough. I appreciate you taking time to respond. People want more than words, and soon. The White Hats con Trump scam is the same deal. Soon was so close now. Nisara, etc. How's your words any different? Chemtrails are still a huge issue. I haven't seen any change there. There are breaks as always, and then they dump like crazy for a while, and then it's clear for a few days. It's been like this since 2005 when I first noticed them. Okay, so if you are in control of all these troops, and a few non-humans, as you say, all the infrastructure and breakaway civilization, I mean, they all have to live somewhere. Again, I do appreciate you taking the time to respond. Tank was pushing the RV, and still might be. How come you aligned yourself with obvious con men like Thomas Williams and Steffen Rowe? The first time I heard them both, I cringed. They just sounded like grifters from the get-go. Didn't you say you have special discernment abilities and quantum computers to check people out carefully, etc.? I never saw you as an ATM machine and gave you the benefit of the doubt, but you used the promise of funding to gain followers. And that was not just a mention, it was your selling point.
I reached out to Tank because I was seeing posts on dinner and tell sites about people living in cars, sleeping in the Reno Walmart parking lot. I showed him a lot because I was trying to help people move on, as I knew it was going to happen, and that Rothschild was running it tied to Bush Sr. Eventually, when Thomas Williams didn't want to start a news channel, as I was told to do, then in came Tank. So it came to be.
Hey, I had an interesting thought. Can you share any footage and photos of you with the ET Universal Council? That would really help convince people. Some pics of ET you have met, or in a spacecraft, or a photo of the 10,000-year-old advanced quantum computer you are using. That would be awesome to see. and your meetings with world leaders. Is there some media of that? Thanks again for taking the time to chat.
So there you go. The conversation starts off really good. This guy Jason, and top attempt, shall I say, brilliant attempt to get information out of Kim. None of the core Team Bubba members have ever been in a chat such until you did this, and this was back in September, and this is one of the reasons why it took us time to make this video, is purely because we wanted to check with our sources some of the information that Jason managed to get out of her. Of course, this is regarding things with Tank. This is regarding the money that they're pulling in for the IPTV and care and subscription to a news channel. So we wanted to go to all of our sources to find out, was this what Kim's been saying is true. So let's have a look through this text. We'll scroll down. I've highlighted some little parts in here, and like I said, Jason's done a cracking job, some brilliant and explanation from his side of what he does himself. It's kind of like very ignorant of Kim, thinking that everybody's like, doesn't do anything in life. But anyway, we'll come to that in a minute. So this is the bit where Kim's asked a question about, why are you starting all these websites and you don't even, it's just complete waste of time. And she says, like, the website building wasn't my request for anyone. It was Tank's. Now, my understanding, all right, we've had this from both a representative from Tank's side and, of course, two people that work closely under Kim. I've said that's utter bullshit. Everything come from her. It was her idea. She was pushing it out for, we need a website for this. We need a website for that. We want to make sure that, and this is in all regions, not just in the US. We're talking about every region where all these assemblies were and where they wanted to try and get people's attention. So there was thousands of hours wasted on this, and also money that was pulled in from people's own money. None of this come from Kim. The money was paid out of people's back pocket. They went out and bought the tooling. Some people already had it. So she's talking complete drivel here. And it says down here, look, here you go. This is typical of her. It's people like you that like to complain about everything and yet do nothing. And this is typical. You ask a question to Kim. If she doesn't like it, this is how she tarnishes you. She tries to rip you out. I mean, Jason's just gone through what he does for people. I mean, you've listened to the audio. He's helping people out in another country, in Uganda, helping children, helping adults, out of his own pocket, medical supplies, you name it. How dare she think that? Judge, someone in her level, why would you prejudge someone you don't even know? I'll tell you why. It's because this guy, Jason, is a member of Team Bubba, not as in like a core member. It's someone that follows, who's in one of our team Telegram groups. And she hates that. She hates that. And this guy's asking some fantastic questions and ripping her to bits. How much do you think UNN earns, she says. Of course, then Jason, because there's a bit of a delay, of course, with the chat, and he says, who pays for all the GIA staff? Isn't that hundreds of people worldwide? It's a global intelligence agency. And she says, nope. And he says, oh, it sounds like a huge operation. And again, you didn't answer my question. Oh, so the thing is that we've noticed this with Kim. You ask her a question, she doesn't want to answer, right? It's typical kind of politician type person. She'll go off and say, well, you didn't answer my question, or she'll answer she'll answer your question with a question. And he says, no, I don't know how much. I'm totally open to hearing. So he's saying, you tell me, how much do you pull in then for it? Now this is the lies bit. She said she pulls in $35,000 a month. We have 40 people around the world on payroll. That's a total of $40,000, and the remaining $5,000 goes to pay for app hosting, and Zoom, etc. If our income goes up, we pay other persons. Now, she also said that a bit down the bottom here. If there's anything left, we send it to people, etc. Right. This is where we went to our sources, okay, and whistleblowers. So from representing Tank side, they said that's utter rubbish. The money was much more than that. It was double that, and that's just for UNN, okay? And all that money went into not quite a business account. It went into, is it TD account? I think I can remember. TD account that was open as like a business account. That money went into that account each month, and it was shared between 4 people, not 40 people, 4 people. One of them was Kim, Vera, Lisa Thomas, and the other one was Sunny Gall. 4 people got income each month out of this. And of course, we went and asked our other side, the people that worked closely with Kim, and they said the same. They said they saw the accounts, and it was touching more like $95,000 a month for UNN alone. And they're not even aware of anyone being on payroll. There wasn't any accounts where it was like money was going out to people. And of course, they're not paying tax. They were not paying tax because this is all offshore. The business is looked at as offshore. Now, the only thing is the money coming into the account, it was declared, I think it went through some kind of slush fund, etc. But 4 people, not 40,000, not 40 people, and Tank was on getting a cut of that money. That's what we were told from the other side. Now, how that gets divided up, we don't know. But they said that there was touching more like now $90,000 a month. And that's from 2 free sources, from Tank side and from Kim's side. People that work closely, and they were in Zoom calls, they were talking about figures, etc. Now, the IPTV, that money does not go into the country, does not go into the US. That is in an offshore bank account, and nobody knows how much money is in that account, apart from the fact that they have 15 to 20,000 subscribers, and this was over a year and a half ago. At $25 a shot, it's millions. And let's say UNN on its own, millions. Then you've got IPTV, millions of dollars. So there you go. And that's coming from sources close, that are close to Kim and representing Tank. Of course, we'll come into the other bit in a minute about what she accused him of. And she says, I still get complaints from assembly people. And she got some, I won't read through it all, it was about the something to do with Korea, and that they were trying to get people to sign up to religion and things like that. I mean, the assembly thing was a complete mess. And again, anything that, I mean, Kim's bringing this out now because she backed off the assemblies, because it did what it was meant to do, is get people to sign up to her bullshit. And she's pulled in a lot of people. She's pulled in enough. I went, right, okay, don't need anyone else. We'll keep on to the cream of the assembly people she used for the tech side to build her websites, to build her app, and to keep IPTV and everything else running. Okay, so we got here. And she said it's still going on and people couldn't get along. Yeah, people couldn't get along. It's because of you, Kim. You're confusing everybody. I see this Jason saying, okay, well, I can understand that. Still, there must have been some that had good projects ready for funding. My friends were all getting along great in their assemblies, as far as I could tell. oh, well, I wish you all the best anyway. And then she goes on about, oh, as for the PGSD, they're all, including Tank, stopped listening to me. They tried to build ridiculous amounts of websites which confused everyone and tried to Americanize the world, create cookie cutter processes that people could never comply with. So do some and so do some carry on. Hundreds did not. Right. So again, anything that's going bad, she's saying it wasn't me, it was Tank, and it was all everybody else. It wasn't me. I was nothing to do with that. And that's what people do. That are narcissists. It's never their fault. It's someone else's fault. Anyway, Jason asks, I think people assume that the GIA is like the CIA, but nicer and global. So they think there must be funds and military being funded also. Didn't you say you had over 1 million troops available? Perhaps GIA wasn't the best choice of name. Good point. And then she's putting here that, and before UNN was actually formed and running like a real business, I painted houses and paid my own bills. As far as Tank asking for donations, we found out he pocketed 90,000 and gave me and everyone else 0. We do all but 10 are not human. But okay, let's break this down a little bit. So he basically said about what happened to Tank, about donations and stuff. And she was the one that volunteered in this and said that he pocketed 90,000. Okay, representative from Tank's side, no, did not take any money. He had his own donations that was taken from people after leaving, some before and a lot more after, to help him build up what he's doing now. Which, I mean, what can we say about this? We don't have any physical proof on that, but the fact that Kim's come out with this, and on the Tank side, they're saying absolute rubbish, didn't take any money. But we've been told by a few people now that money did go missing a lot. And that's not from, so remember, people didn't know anything about the IPTV. They haven't seen that money going into the country. It's offshore, probably in the Cayman Islands or something, I don't know. But that money does not go into the US or anywhere else. This is just talking about UNN money and donations that they're pulled in to start projects. And we're talking millions. Yeah. So for Kim to say $90,000 went missing, I mean, that just shows how much they've got in their bank account. Because if me or any of you listening had, I don't know, let's say £50 or $50 missing out your bank account, you soon notice, wouldn't you? Because you probably don't have that much in there. For someone to not notice that $90,000 went missing for a while, and we're talking about a long time, and then all of a sudden, anyway, Tank side said that was there was other things going on in the background, and that it was nothing to do with any money going missing, and they can't say what happened, but whatever it is that happened, there was a big fallout, and we've been told there was also some affairs going on in the background with Tank, Kim, Lisa Thomas, and another one. I don't know who that is. We've not been told. Okay, so the other bit here, it says we do, like she's on about the military, that there's 1 million troops. So she has 1 million troops, and all but 10 are not human. So this is why on the thumbnail I've put some robots. What are they, robots? So you've got 1 million troops. Right, okay, so you've got 1 million troops. So where do you keep them, Kim? Where do you store all these troops? I don't know, people. Please, just I don't need to spend much more time on that. It's just ridiculous. She said, look, they don't use money. So if they don't use money, she's got 1 million troops that are not. Is it what, aliens or what? Well, maybe you should go out and put them troops on the ground and try and help people out, protect those people in Hawaii that have been blasted by God knows what, for the disaster they've gone through, and now the poor people in other countries are facing the same. So another bit in here says, because of all your claims of control, the world's financial system still doesn't make sense. Either you have control or you don't. If you did, then everything would have changed. Chemtrails are still above me. The elite scum are still doing their thing. You push the RV back in the day. That was BS. So was the man of trust, etc. So all of this still takes a lot. So all of this looks a lot like a grift. And your answers seem to support that. Stories of power and passion to build a business, that sells hope. Without the Indiana Jones stories and sci-fi aliens and light language translations and your troops taking out the baddies, there would be no followers, which is right. Basically, she's just putting this crap out, hoping, makes stuff up just so that she can hold on to her followers. Anyway, she responds back saying, chemtrails are not as frequent as they used to be, and you know this, really? Well, and I can look above my house, and it's blasted every day, chemtrails. So, Kim, you're talking shit. Nothing's changed. It's got worse. And you can go ask nearly all their followers should be asking the same question. And there's another bit in here. It says, again, you don't have to listen to my initial assessment was Kim, me, is an ATM machine, and without money in your bank account, I'm worthless, which is also a program. So basically, Kim's saying, oh, because I'm not offering out money, and she seems to think everyone sees her as an ATM machine. And because she's not showing the money, then she's useless. And we're all brainwashed in a program because we want funding to help people. It takes money to help on a massive scale. Most people are using their own money, to help people like this guy is doing, Jason. But she just seems to think everyone's the same. Complete narcissist, unbelievable. And it says in here, yes, and every person I can give a paycheck to will do. I do not own a house. I take what I need to exist and give the rest to everyone else. I have had businesses in my life that have made me millions, which I built. And I gave it up for this. So you can judge me on what I do and I don't. All you want. But I know who I am. I know what I have done. I also know I know our financial, telecom, military, intelligence, etc. systems were built. Okay, so yeah, you did own millions and you still do. But the difference is now, Kim, is that you're doing nothing for it. You're getting everybody else to do it for you while you sit at home in your house and just rake all the money in. Oh, and by the way, the name Man of Trust was created by me and registered in the system. And it was my choice to change the name. I wasn't pushing anything. I made a name and others corrupted it. And I moved the ball. This is war. Do you not understand war? So, again, the Man of World Holding Trust. Yes, she created this. It's a lot of some trust that no one's ever seen. She's can never prove it. She's never demonstrated money moving out. Remember, she told everybody we get $3,000 in our bank accounts, which never happened. Well, this is the so-called Man of Trust that's got all this cash in there. She can't get a dime out of it because it's rubbish, absolute bullshit. Now, the Man of Holding Trust, she dumped that because we went out, done some investigation. We put videos out. We went to companies and said, look, this woman, Kimberly Goguen, she's not going to come up with the goods. And they was right. And they believed us. They looked at our content and looked at our videos and they'd done some research on their own and found out that she was nothing but a grifter. We're talking third world countries, businesses, banks, you name it. She's tried it with the Man of World Holding Trust. We've done videos on it. You go and have a look. The most, the ones that you must watch videos. We've got a playlist in our. We'll put the link in here. But that was the Man of World Holding Trust, and she changed the name purely because she wanted to continue the grift, and now it's loads of millions of different entities now. She uses to try it. She's using people now to do the grifting for her, and you don't know you're doing it, and that's the thing. Okay, so we've got a couple bit more to go because the video's going on a bit. How come you aligned yourself with obvious conmen like Thomas Williams and Steffen Rowe? The first time I heard of them both, I cringed. They just sounded like grifters from the get-go. Don't you use some special discernment abilities like quantum computers to check people out carefully, etc.? Yeah, which is right. We heard this all along. Anything if you wanted to get involved with anything with Kim, she had to do background checks and everything else. So why would you have them on your payroll? Thomas Melville as well. And we'll come on to him in another video. That slime ball putting things out that happened 6 months ago, saying this is going to happen, this is going to, on behalf of Kim, and it didn't happen. And we'll do a video on that. It's another day. So, yeah, and he said on here, this is Jason's bit. I never saw you as an ATM machine and gave you the benefit of the doubt, but you used the promise of funding to gain followers. And it's true, 100%. Of course, then she finishes off on Tank was pushing the RV and still might. I reached out to Tank because I was seeing posts on DNAR Intel sites. What are you doing on there then, Kim? On DNAR Intel sites about people living in cars, sleeping in Renault Walmart parking lot. I showed him a lot because I was trying to help people move on, as I knew it was going to happen. Wasn't going to happen, sorry, she's talking about the RV. And that Rothschild was running it, tied to Bush Senior. Eventually, when Thomas Williams didn't want to start a news channel, as I was told to do, she was told to do by Source. Yeah, Source said to her, "You've got to start a news channel and rip people off with IPTV, taking money off them." Yeah, this is Source. What Source is she? It's like someone from Star Wars, isn't it? Is she from the Sith? I don't know. You can do that to people if you come from Source. Source will provide. That's what I told. Source will provide. Was provide mean that you have to take money from people that are struggling to pay their bills, their electricity, their gas, food? So you think a luxury of like IPTV is an essential part of their life? How about you give them some energy? How about you give them free energy devices that you've been going on about? That's what you should be doing, Kim. People don't want a news channel. If you want to do a news channel, just do a couple of blogs. All you got to do is stream live somewhere off a website. And loads of people do it. It won't cost you millions. You don't need thousands of people to do all your work for you. Just do something like that. People, essential. This is what you should be providing, not crappy TV full of junk. This is IPTV. That's the cabal's TV channels. She's streaming to you. And in next minute, she's telling you on one hand, don't watch CNN, but she's streaming all this to you if you pay $25 a month. So there you go. So that's that. Oh, the one thing I did want to know, the RV thing, this bit about she saw people on a post on DNAR Intel. Yeah, she did go on there. Of course she did. She went on there. She was looking for someone to head on because she wanted someone that could, from the RV, she saw it had been going on for like 3 decades and thought, well, we could do with some people. Let's get in here, steal these followers of the RV, and we can make money because they're idiots. That's what she's thinking. I was one of them, so I'm an idiot because I bought that crap. I bought that them dinars, and I bought the Zims, so I can say that because I'm an idiot. I fell for it. I'm not anymore, but I was back then. So she wanted idiots, right, to join her so she could scam them, take money, sign up for subscriptions. And she'll tell you, I don't rip anybody off. She does it in stealth. She's doing it in stealth, people. She's selling an illegal TV channel, right? This supposed to be, crispy, clean person, right? That wants to help humanity, but she sells you illegal streaming TV when really she should be streaming something to you like energy so you can cook your dinners and keep warm in winter and keep cold in summers. But no, she don't want to do that because she has no intention. She doesn't give a shit about any of you. Well, everybody, that is the end of our video. Thanks very much for being patient. It's been going on for a little bit, this one. We've got some more bits coming up soon. I don't want to kind of give it away yet, but we've got some crackers coming up. But thank you again for your time. Please share these videos. It really does help get the message out there. Hit a like as well. And please give us comments. We try to get back to comments as much as we can. Some of them are quite hilarious. Making fun of us, but also making fun of the grifters too. But we don't mind a little bit of humor. But if you're going on about the pedo shit stuff, then we're just going to get rid of you, because we can't be bothered with that crap anymore. It's old. It's a lot of rubbish. We explained it in one of our videos why she's doing it. Anyway, that's it. Thanks very much, everyone. Take care. You have a lovely day.